Planet Dolan.
What roller coaster was originally designed with a gap jump in the track? What happened when people tried riding a human catapult? Today we look at 10 of the most horrifying rides to ever appear on Earth. I'm Hellbent, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10. Water slides are already a good place to get some extra bumps and bruises. But this, it's an enclosed water slide with a 15-foot loop. The slide was designed with a hatch in the bottom for people who got stuck, which might have actually been the best case scenario. Apparently, a number of the crash test dummies they sent through the tube came out of the other side decapitated or in multiple pieces. For some reason, they still opened the ride for a while, but it was closed a month later, and now they're trying to rebuild a new looping water slide. Number 9. Hey, this sounds safe. Here's a ride in which you can pay $70 to be thrown through the air by a medieval-style catapult. No restraints, no protection, just you, a catapult, and a safety net to hit. Well, in 2002, a 19-year-old college student took his turn on the ride and missed the net completely. It went about as well for him as you would expect. Number 8. Oddly enough, this one hasn't killed or maimed anyone yet, despite its whole concept being that the tracks detach from each other. Most roller coasters will slowly drag you up to the top of the hill, then push you down to the other side. The Gravity Max locks the train onto a set of track, detaches that track, tilts it 90 degrees to connect to the next piece of track, and then lets you go. Of all the rides we're talking about, this one just looks terrifying. Safety-wise, it seems to check out for now. Number 7. The Beast is one of Kings Island's signature attractions, which made the Son of the Beast that much more disappointing. When Son of Beast opened in 2000, it was the biggest and fastest wooden coaster in the world, and the only one with an inversion. The loop was removed after the first year, and the cars replaced with lighter ones after complaints that the ride was too rough. But in 2006, a damaged part of the track caused one of the cars to suddenly stop, causing several injuries and a ride closure. In 2009, the ride was closed again after a woman claimed the ride caused her to burst a blood vessel. It was never reopened after that and was dismantled in 2012. Number 6. The Lightning was the first of 3 roller coasters at Riviera Beach dubbed the Giant Cyclone Safety Coasters. Naturally, they were all death traps. The Lightning was arguably the most notorious. It suffered its first fatality on only its second day of operation. They closed the ride, collected the body of the woman that had fallen out, and reopened the ride 20 minutes later. The Lightning was an aggressively bumpy ride and caused a constant string of serious injuries. It got so bad, "Take her on the Lightning" became a popular slang phrase for abortion in Massachusetts in the 1920s. Number 5. Action Park. Yes, the same people who thought they could make a loop-the-loop water slide was best known for its tidal wave pool. But after it drowned 3 people, they started calling it the Grave Pool. The average water park lifeguard makes no more than 2 or 3 rescues in an entire season. The poor sap station at the Grave Pool would make around 30 rescues in a busy weekend. Action Park eventually calmed the wave intensity down, but they also stationed about a dozen lifeguards there just in case. Number 4. These don't have a location. They can be found at any number of amusement parks, and they're equally crazy anywhere you go. There's nothing that special about a scat dive. It's a 150-foot free fall. You just fall into a net. Hopefully. Like in the case of the human catapult, not everybody necessarily hits the net. And when you're free falling with no constraints or controls, it's very important that you hit the net. Number 3. The Canaan Coaster opened in 1906 at Coney Island, and hey, you gotta give them some credit for trying to go big. The original concept of this thing is that it was supposed to jump a gap in the track. They kept trying it with sandbags, and they kept having the same roller coaster tycoon results. Eventually, they just decided to fill the gap before letting humans ride it, but it still ended up being popular, as legends held that it caused several deaths during the initial test phase. Number 2. This is the third water-based ride on this list from Action Park that either killed somebody or was closed down before it had the chance. How Action Park has survived this long without burning itself to the ground is a mystery. Their whitewater rafting simulation killed a man in 1982 when he stepped on an exposed electrical wire while trying to fix his kayak. See, Action Park decided that the best way to simulate whitewater rapids for kayaking was to use giant electrical fans to stir up the water. So that's why there was an exposed electrical wire near a pool of water, in case you're wondering. Number 1. More fun from Action Park. The Alpine Slide was just a concrete and fiberglass tube that riders zipped down in modified snow sleds. It was high enough and long enough to require a ski lift to reach the top. There were a bunch of problems with this. First off, the brakes didn't really work, and if they did, there was an ever-present threat of being hit from behind. Of course, going too fast meant there was a good chance you'd lose control and skid down the fiberglass and concrete track in your swimsuit. The Alpine Slide also killed someone. When in 1980, a park employee's sled jumped the track and he smashed his head on a rock. It also accounted for 12 bone fractures and 24 head injuries just between 1984 and 1985 alone. Which of these insane death traps would you be willing to take a turn on? Leave us a comment below and we'll pin our favorite up to the top. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.